Ever sit in silence wondering, where is God in all this? If you've ever struggled with not feeling His presence, even when you desperately need it, today's conversation is for you. Welcome to Wrestling with God, Big Questions, Honest Conversations. I'm Cliff Sims. Today, we're tackling one of the toughest and most personal questions out there. What if I don't feel God's presence? Whether you're a skeptic, someone caught in the grip of doubt, or you're a believer wrestling with the seasons of emptiness, I invite you to join me as we explore this challenge together. Many of us have been taught that a relationship with God should feel warm, immediate, and unmistakably real. But what happens when that expected closeness seems to vanish? For some, the silence is deafening, raising questions like, is God really there? Or what if my faith is just wishful thinking? These are not easy questions, and they deserve honest exploration. It's worth considering that our emotional state isn't always a reliable measure of truth. We all experience highs and lows, moments of clarity and periods of doubt. Sometimes not feeling God's presence might not be a sign of absence at all, but rather an invitation to look deeper, beyond our immediate feelings and expectations. What if this silence is a space for growth and reflection, or even a redefined understanding of faith? History and Scripture offer plenty of examples of those who struggle with spiritual dryness. Figures like Elijah and David and even Job, they wrestled with moments of overwhelming doubt and despair. And while these stories come from a deeply religious tradition, they resonate even if you're questioning the supernatural. They remind us that doubt and uncertainty are part of the human experience, and that perhaps questioning isn't the enemy of faith, but a step toward more honest understanding. One common assumption is that if God were truly present, we'd feel it, like a sudden surge of warmth or an unmistakable sign. But what if that expectation is more about our own needs than about reality? Emotional experiences can be fleeting and subjective. What if instead of a constant, overwhelming presence, God's influence is greater and more subtle and often hidden in the routine of life? For those of us wrestling with the silence, here are a few ideas that might help create space for deeper inquiry without demanding an immediate answer. Okay, first, honest reflection. Set aside time for quiet reflection or journaling. Instead of trying to force a feeling, allow yourself to record your doubts and frustrations and questions. Over time, you might notice patterns or insights emerging from silence. As a Christian, I've often noticed that God does some of His greatest work in the interim, in the quiet and the waiting. 2, engage in open dialogue. Talk with others, whether they're believers or skeptics, or fellow wrestlers with God. Honest conversation can validate your experience and offer new perspectives, even if it doesn't provide all the answers. 3, explore beyond emotions. Read widely, from religious text to philosophical works, and consider the broader picture. Sometimes intellectual exploration can illuminate aspects of faith that raw emotion might not reveal. You might just need a little perspective. 4, embrace the journey. Understand that faith and doubt often walk hand in hand. Allow yourself to exist in the space of questioning without feeling pressure to resolve everything immediately. Trust that the search itself is a valuable part of the journey. I want to emphasize that struggling with these questions is not a sign of failure. It's a testament to your commitment to truth. Whether you're leaning toward skepticism or holding on to faith in a different way, your doubts are part of your unique journey. I encourage you to share your experiences, however raw or uncertain they may be. Your story might be the very thing that helps someone else feel less alone. As we close today's conversation, remember this: not feeling God's presence doesn't mean He isn't there. It might just be that His presence doesn't always shout, but sometimes it whispers. I challenge you this week to carve out a few moments of quiet reflection, to allow yourself to sit with the questions and to see where that honest inquiry leads you, whether it brings reassurance, more questions, or new perspective entirely. Know that every step of the journey is worth taking. Thank you for tuning in to Wrestling with God, big questions, honest conversations. If this episode resonated with you, or even if it stirred up more questions, please share it with someone who might be wrestling with these tough issues also. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So reach out on social media or drop me an email. You can find my contact info at riverchurchdecatur.com, as well as all of our socials. I'm Cliff Sims, and until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking, and remember that even in the silence, you're not alone.